In this section, we will cover the present progressive. The present progressive is a verb form that allows us to express what is happening in a moment. So, the present progressive is a verb form that is used to express actions that are in progress in the moment. To express this form, we use am, is, or are, followed by a verb with the ing ending at the end of it. An example in English would be, I am listening, or I am eating. In Spanish, we use some form of the verb estar to express this am, is, or are, and to express the ing, we put ando for AR verbs and yendo for ER and IR verbs. So, whereas before we were taking off the AR, ER, and IR and putting either an O or an AS or an AMOS, so we were making all those verb conjugations before. In order to do the ing ending, we just take off that AR, and instead of putting one of those verb forms or verb endings that we've already learned, instead of that we just put ando. If it's an ER or an IR verb, we take that ER or IR off and put yendo. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. Estoy estudiando. So I am studying. Estoy estudiando. Or estamos hablando. So we are talking. So the general rule is that there are not any stem changes with ing forms. There are some exceptions, we'll talk about those. But before we look at the exceptions, let's take a look at the verb hablar in the table here. So to say I am speaking, estoy hablando. You are speaking, tú estás hablando. He, she, or you are speaking, él está hablando. Ella está hablando. Usted está hablando. Okay? To say we are speaking, nosotros estamos hablando. You guys or they are speaking, ustedes están hablando, or ellos or ellas están hablando. Okay, so that's for an AR verb. Notice how we have the ando at the end of the verb for our AR verb, but we have ando at the end of every single form. The only thing that really changes is the I am, he is, she is, etc., the form of estar. So these are, this is actually a very useful and kind of rather simple verb form. Okay, let's take a look at an ER verb, comer. So to say, I am eating, yo estoy comiendo. You, tú estás comiendo. He, she, or you. Él, ella, usted está comiendo. Nosotros estamos comiendo, for we are eating, and ustedes, ellos, or ellas están comiendo, for you guys or they are eating. I would suggest grabbing a random verb and practicing it a little bit, and then coming back and looking at the exceptions here. So if the stem of an ER or IR verb ends in a vowel, then change the E to a Y. So if we have the verb leer, so we take the ER off. When we take the ER off of the verb leer, we're left with its stem, the stem being just LE. If the end of that stem is an E, then when we go to add the yendo, or the IENDO, the ing ending, then we're going to take that I and change it to a Y. So it's not going to be leyendo, it's leyendo. Same thing with creer. We take that ER off, we're left with the verb stem, just CRE. Since that stem ends in a vowel, instead of saying yendo, we're going to change that I to a Y, and we end up with creyendo. All right? Now, when using the ing with a stem changing IR verb, okay, so there's a small set of IR verbs that are stem changers. So if we have an IR verb and it happens to be an E to IE stem change, like with preferir. So we're going to pull that IR off, and we're going to add the yendo, right? But we're still going to do a stem change. Instead of an E to IE, we're going to do E to I. So we're going to say prefiriendo, prefiriendo, right? If that stem changing IR verb happens to be an E to I stem changer, then that will continue as an E to I stem changer. So, an example of this is the verb conseguir. Conseguir is an IR verb. It is an E to I stem changing verb. So it's going to break that general rule. The general rule here is, remember, ing will not get a stem change. The exception being conseguir in this case. So we have consiguiendo. All right. Dormir, also a stem changing verb, normally an O to UE stem changer. If we're doing the ing ending with dormir, it will get a stem change, slightly different one. It will be O to U, so it will be durmiendo, durmiendo. All right. So watch out for some of those exceptions. Again, that was a lot of explanation on exceptions. But the larger overarching general rule is that there are not stem changes when we use these ing endings. So keep that in mind. Some examples of the ing endings. Ella está visitando a Marcos. Okay, so she is visiting Marcos. We have another example. Ellos están comprando regalos. They're buying gifts. Nosotros estamos hablando con María. So we're talking with María. Yo estoy comiendo. I am eating. And él está haciendo las maletas. He is packing. So notice we have some form of am, is, or are, followed by a verb with the ing ending. Study those, practice those. We'll use them some more in class. And that's it for now.